So, Joaquin DeSoto Jr., we're here. It's funny, but I've been stalking this guy like literally all day. But he's been busy. He's been running a couple of classes, and quite frankly, he's been running them very, very well. He TQ'd and won in GT, and he was in 8-Scale Open. We're going to start out talking about GT because, we're headed to Peru in a couple of months, right? March or so. I will be down there, book my tickets, bringing my cell phone and my microphone, and we're going to do some interviews down there. GT is much, much bigger down there than it is up here, so let's talk about that first. He TQ'd. Let me tell you, it was not exactly easy for him to TQ in GT because there was competition, right? I mean, I'll let you explain the competition, but it wasn't like a walk in the park at this event.
Definitely not. So, qualifying, it was interesting. It was actually a difference of strategies for the most part. The first two rounds, we always had really, really good pace. We had been the faster car, but we weren't sure about our fuel mileage, so we kept pitting. So our pitting would exactly offset our pace, basically, and it became a very, very tight battle for qualifying with Mr. Barnes and Reno Lino. And the first two rounds, we actually came just very slightly short, literally within a tenth of a second, over 7 minutes. But after the next two rounds, we were actually able to pull it through, and we were able to get a really good run and TQ.
So fuel mileage in a GT car. Yeah, right. Because normally, I mean, when we run at club races, I mean, nobody ever refuels. I mean, 7-8 minutes, everybody's good to go. But I mean, I guess that goes to show you or goes to say about the competition because everybody was on the edge, right?
No, it was. It shows you that the grip at this track is amazing. That the GT cars themselves have really been developed over the last few years, and they're running much better than they used to run historically. So just like in 8-Scale or 10-Scale, the more traditional classes, the fuel mileage is now getting pushed. So we can still make 5 minutes really easily, but 7 minutes is actually just as hard as basically making it as it is for my 8-Scale and the classic 5-minute qualifying. So.
Very, very interesting. So that means that, when I was at Homestead last time, the GT cars were running about 53, 54 miles an hour at the end of the straight. I'd be curious to see what they were running here. Do you think that even between that Miami Grand Prix and now that the speeds have increased?
I think we're probably hitting a similar mileage. We end up shortening the gears a little bit because this infield, to get good rip through the infield, we end up running. The Homestead does have a longer straightaway, so I wouldn't be surprised if we tick a slightly higher top speed there, but no question they're running extremely well here, and I'm sure we're getting to very similar speeds.
Perfect. So, so that was the TQ, but let's talk about the race. Listen, that was a hard-fought race. I have a lot of pictures of that race. I have a lot of video of that race. The trophy girl showed up, so I had to disappear during the middle of the race to go organize some things over on the other side of the fence here. But quite frankly, man, look, I was watching that race. It was not exactly an easy race to win, was it?
No, there was a lot of cars on the track. It was very close between a lot of guys. Just like in qualifying, the pace was getting pushed and things were pretty tight. So we definitely had to be on our A game. But luckily we were kind of able to get a clean start and kind of just run our pace and conserve the tires and make sure that it was a clean race that we executed well. So luckily we were able to do that. But it's definitely not always that easy.
So talk to me about conserving the tires because the temperature changed from the beginning of the race to the end of the race. So overheating your tires was definitely something that people had to be concerned about. How did you manage that?
Yeah, in the rubber tires, it's one of the parts of GT racing I love the most is a lot of the tire conservation, kind of the way you feel the tires, whether you overheat them, then you need a lap to kind of cool them off, and kind of managing that back and forth is definitely it's part of the art of the GT class. And at the beginning I was willing to kind of run them a little harder. I knew they were fresh. I knew if I got a little bit of breathing space that then I'd be able to kind of conserve them a little later in the race, and that's basically what I tried to do. I tried to run pretty hard the first two tanks, and then after that, once I got a little bit of a cushion, just try to manage the gap.
So it's funny again. I mean, I hear Formula One. I hear Rosberg's mechanic or Hamilton's mechanic or Button's mechanic. Manage the gap. Your tires are overheating. Brakes are overheating. I mean, I hear that. So it's funny. I mean, this is a hobby and a sport all at the same time. It just sounds like there's really nothing really very different between watching Formula One on a Sunday and coming out here and watching this on a Sunday.
No, it's at the end, the cars look a little different. The drivers aren't sitting in the car, but at the end of the day, at this level of competition, a lot of the same thought process is going on. To run on the limit and to be there, like that, very similar decisions have to get made.
So any secrets, any prep, any ahead of time for Peru, or you bring anything special? Can anybody buy anything ahead of time that you tested here at the track now?
So I was running Serpent 3.0. We've been developing the car ever since the beginning. I really think it's a great car. It's come a long way. So my 3.0 is very similar to kind of what you can buy. I was running a Pico motor. Again, I think they're the strongest GT motor at the moment, just out of the box. It's nothing. People sometimes think it's something special. We literally, out of inventory, will grab a motor and put it in the car sometimes. So like they're good motors. So no, we really ran. We did a lot of testing for kind of the Nats and earlier in the year for kind of the Miami Grand Prix ahead of the Nats. But here we basically ran a very similar package that we did at the Nationals, and it worked really well again. So
that's awesome. So again, folks, I'm gonna point this out. Ahead of Peru, which is a big GT event, I will be bringing my GT and running GT. The kids will be running GT as well, but big GT event. Stock stuff, straight off the shelf, motor, the car package. They've been developing this stuff. So hit up Serpent America if you plan to attend the race in Peru. Apercar. I forget what the website is, but I will post it in the notes of this particular video because I have the URL. And my memory is horrible, as you guys have noticed through some of these videos. But again, Joaquin, thank you so much. I really appreciate the time with you here. And good luck in future endeavors and this kind of thing, right?
Thank you very much.